Elizabeth Martinez, now that I have your attention, I'm here to enter your contest. The I am cute and if you disagree you can suck a Tiddie. I don't know what a Tiddie is, but hopefully nobody will have to suck one. Anyway, the contest is 5 questions which I'm going to answer for you. First of all, Elizabeth Martinez is a newbie, not to the world of YouTube. She is a star as far as I'm concerned, compared to what most of us are. She's got thousands and thousands and thousands of subs and gets lots and lots of views and does all kinds of stuff besides records. So the record thing's kind of new to her. So we welcome her in with open arms and wish you all the luck in the world in this part of your journey. So, first question we have: most beat up record and why you bought it. Okay, the first thing you need to know about my most beat up record is I got it on eBay. So it wasn't as beat up, or it didn't say it was this beat up. It was one of those deals. So basically it's this. It's one of the very early Man for Man albums from 64, 65, something like that, called 5 Faces of Man for Man. Now this was up there, supposed to be in very good condition, and I got it fairly cheap. I was glad I won it. Came in, opened her up, pulled the record out. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, now you can see it. See that? It looks like I was run over by a train. This is very good, according to the person who sold it to me. And the other side is the same. So, I do have other beat records as well, but I think this probably overall is the most beat, has the most scuffs on it. The interesting thing about this record is there is nothing deep on here as far as scratches go. And it plays from beginning to end. And sounds better than records that I have that are twice as better shape than this. So that's kind of says a lot about the old records. So as upset as I was to see how beat this thing was, the fact that it plays through as well as it does, I was quite happy and relieved for that. So that's my first answer there. Next, childhood. Now, I've mentioned a couple times before my father is a jazz head, and he was a jazz singer when he was younger. And after he quit the business before I was born. He started a company. So he went from being a singer and as well as a carpenter, which he also did on the side, to be a company owner and a desk jockey, basically. So he had basically a normal hourly job. Well, not hourly, but I mean, normal hours, day job. So when he would come home at night, first thing he would do was play records, and he had about 350 jazz albums that he had in a cabinet above where the stereo that he basically built from parts that he used from a record lathe, which used to cut the metal discs that they use on the presses to make the records. So he actually had one because he also did recording as well. So he took parts from that and a regular tone arm and built his own wooden case and cover, and the thing was like huge, probably this tall, and made his own turntable, and then got all his parts and made his own cabinets and put the tuner and the radio and his reel-to-reel deck over on the side and built them all into these units. So anyway, after work, first thing he would do, and would do until I can basically went to bed, and I'm sure later than that, was play records. So it was all jazz. So one of the artists that he used to play a lot, that was one of his favorites, that I can relate to more than some of the others, being that he was also a singer and I am a singer as well, was this group called Lambert, Hendricks and Ross. So basically what this was the first jazz vocal group that actually sang like instrumentals, which means this guy, John Hendricks, would actually take instrumental jazz songs and he would literally write lyrics to these songs, use the solo parts from these songs, and actually sing words in these solos. And nobody had ever done this before, and this was like one of his favorite groups. So this is one record that reminds me of growing up from the very beginning, probably even before I started buying 45s myself when I was little. So that's my early memory from childhood as far as records go. Now, record bought and regretted buying. Pretty much anything I buy, even if it's whether it be more expensive or dollar, if it's that bad that I can't listen to it, at least a song at a time, which is how I play my records anyway, I will sell it or get rid of it. So I really don't have too much other than this one. This is one of my newer Goodwill finds. I bought this and one other one. The other one I ended up keeping. This one, this one was in almost brand new shape, and it's an old 50s record by Paul Anka called Diana. Now this was his first hit in the 50s when he was a teenager. I bought it basically because it was in such good shape, and I figured I'd listen to it and see what the rest of it was like, because I knew the song Diana, and I didn't mind that song. I figured if there was more songs in that vein, that I would keep it and add it to the collection. Well, I started listening to it, and as I played more songs, it got less and less good, and I didn't even make it to the end, and I decided, I can't do this. And there's such interesting tracks, and I don't get this album at all. There's actually 2 Christmas songs, which this isn't a Christmas record. Two versions of Diana, one of which doesn't make any sense. Swami, old Gershwin song. Sassy Bon, some French cheeseball song. I Can't Give You Anything But Love, another old cheeseball song. Your Cheatin' Heart, which is an old country tune. Sing, 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 which was an old 40s song. So basically the only song that sounds like Diana on this is Diana, and the rest of it is total cheeseball 50s old people pop, and couldn't do it. So it went over there, which is my dead place, and it's where it's going after I put it down. Okay, thrift store find. Now, unfortunately, the version of this that I found at the thrift store, I have given away as VCLT because I also have it on CD. Interestingly enough, it is a French rock band called Triangle. Now, the reason I even knew about them was because when I was 7, my parents went to France on vacation, Paris actually. And now by 7, I was already collecting 45s, so they knew that I would want more anything for them to bring me back a record. So what they did was they brought me back a 45 of this group Triangle. Now apparently what they did was they asked somebody at the store for for a recommendation of something that was popular in the rock vein, and they gave her the single. Now this isn't the single, but the fact is I kept this single and I still have my version of it because I've never found it again since I was 7, but never found anything other than that. Come to find out they put out 3 albums and a lot more singles. Well, I happened to be at a thrift store probably about 7-8 years ago, sifting through, and come to find, now this is the CD version, but the vinyl version of this album, sealed, mixed in with all the other beat up and old people stuff that was normally in there. Could not believe it. Paid $1 for the sealed record from France that I never thought I would even find anything else by, and was happy as could be. I ended up getting this, and then I was thinking of VCLT to give to who I consider my mentor on the VC, Derek Higgins, the first person I actually started watching, and he has the biggest record collection on the planet. Knowing that he had everything I could possibly give him, and to show him some kind of appreciation, I did find one other record that I actually asked him about that to see if he had. Found out he did not have it, but it wasn't anything really interesting. Now I remembered I had 2 versions of this, and I figured that because I appreciated him so much, and I figured he probably did not have this, I would ask him and see if he had the vinyl version of this. He was very excited to know that he was going to get it, and I sent it to him. So that is my true best find as far as thrift stores go. I don't own it anymore, but I do have it still in this form, so I can still listen to it. But that's that one. Now last, this one's going to get a little dicey. Interesting thing found in a record. I think I might have Robert Z beat with this one. I know you watched his and Condoms. I remember him showing those in a video before, which I don't remember when it was, but one of his older videos I remember seeing those, and I couldn't believe that myself. This wasn't actually with this record, so obviously the record company didn't bother to put this in this record. What happened was, I think it was about 12 years ago, at the job I was working at, the delivery driver had come across the job on a delivery that he found a whole bunch of records there, and he knew I collected records. And he asked the guy if he was interested in giving them up. And he was. And so he called me at work and asked me if I wanted them, and I said, hell yeah. So he came back with them, and it was about 40 or 50 albums, many of which I still have. This being one of them. Now this record is no big deal. This is Nilsson's Greatest Hits. Common Fare. It's got his bigger songs on Everybody's Talking, and Without You, and the Coconut song. Probably his 3 biggest hits. Well, anyway, so I opened it up, I pulled the record out. Record, no big deal, as usual. Happened to notice there was something else in there. I don't know who put this in here, where this came from, and I even have to cover part of it. But apparently Becky Savage, Get You Off. This is one of those cardboard records like you would get on your cereal box. I don't think this came from cereal. The Lord knows what it came from. It probably came from whatever box that was in. I played it once just for shits and giggles, and it's pretty funny. It's just her moaning and talking about how to give a B-job. It says, you'll shoot first and ask questions later. And apparently she was a porn star. I'm thinking back in the 70s. So, I found many things in records, used records over the years and new ones, but the most interesting were probably in used, but nothing beats that. So, Elizabeth, that's my questions, that's my answers. Hopefully you dug that. I know I wasn't as entertaining as Robert, but I don't have any cool costumes like he has, and I don't think I could pull off the female characters so well with this thing. So. Anyway, if you don't know Elizabeth Martinez with an X at the beginning, that's her page. Check her out. She's funny. She's young. She's California. She's all those things you'd expect, and she shows records. It's all good. Okay, Elizabeth. Everybody else, take care. See you later.